Hello, folks. Good friggin' morning. Okay, so it's gonna be a bit of a speed round thing. To go get this run set up. Long story short, if you're wondering how this is possible, cheats. That's how this is possible. So, without any further ado, this is the yes, time for that, etc. So, this is going to be the Mermaid run. Long story short, if you're wondering why exactly this is a challenge, well, even though mermaids are deliberately one of the big bosses in the game, actually one of the harder fights in the early game, yeah, they suck on pretty much every other situation. Okay, so I can only use so many... So yeah, the leader's gonna be Flesh Spring. If anybody's wondering what the hell that's about, yeah, apparently there's a bit of a weird thing that came from going through the Japanese version of KOL, wherein not KOL, from Let Us Cling Together, rather. Apparently, for whatever bizarre reason, one of the characters was named Flesh Spring, which I was asked to make sure that Flesh Spring took part in this. So anyway, Bear Witch Burden. I'm going to go for my usual stuff here, so go for... Actually, this has to be mermaidy answers, right? Let's go for Affection. Because throughout the entire story, they're like, oh man, I hope people like us. To Wonder asks, walk which path? So here's basically what you get. Longevity gives you Fist Fight. Belief gives you Miracle. Wealth gives you Embodiment of Desires. And Freedom gives you... I want to say that's the one that gives you, whatever it is, Arbitration. I'm just gonna go Longevity. Whatever. Go for that. The Builder asks, design which plan? It would be nice to not get killed off for once in the story, because literally the mermaids get get their everything pushed in, no matter when they come into the story. And we swear which oath? Revenge. You seem like a very revenge-based story. The leader asks, share which vision? Probably Mercy. I think Mercy's the one that gives you Law. I forget exactly. I always end up re-looking these up, because I used to have them memorized. Despite how many times I played this game, I always get confused. So you shape which future? I think they probably want control after everything they've been through. Feels about right. But yeah, probably the simplest and some of the more effective questions in the series. Like, honestly, KOL, in many ways, is just my favorite through all of them. As strange as that sounds, the thing is, even though it's not the most technically impressive, even though its presentation could definitely be better and all that, everything about this game just oozes love for the series. Like, despite the fact that, Matsuno himself basically disowned this one, which is just... what is your problem? Like, you could tell whoever actually made this, like, they honestly cared. I feel like they honestly cared about the setting more than I would argue some of the folks that did balancing for the PSP remake. Like, granted, that's the funny part. That one, they got the aesthetics perfect. They got the setting perfect. They got a lot of things done, but when it came to actual, like, the game consistency, like it actually making the game match the story and all that kind of thing, not even close. Like, not even a contest there. So actually, up until OV64 and One Vision made it a contest, this was easily my favorite game of the series. But yeah, so yeah. Technically speaking, I can't change Tartaros. That's your main character, Mr. Alphonse here, even though, like, OG. It's a prequel. Dude's got blue hair. I wonder who this is going to turn out to be. Shape can be repaired. His hair is only blue because they don't want to put black. Because putting a bunch of gray and black in pixel art looks like crap. So it's blue instead. So it's all vibrant and sticks out and everything. Anyway, so good old tutorial fight. I like that it's nice and simple. Basically, everybody just tells you how the game works, and that's it. You don't have to get into all the extensive bullcrap, like... Yeah, Kiddo says hi, by the way. But yeah, so, like, for example, just to go and, like, doo-doo on Lucked for a bit here. In Lucked, they had arguably one of the most annoying intros that you could ever have. Okay, so what do we wind up to? Yeah, so fist fight, chaotic, earth, not quite guy. So, okay, he's gonna be the landlubber of the group. Everybody else, they're gonna go ahead and be water types, I guess. Arguably, making them air types would make their special move would hit better, but we'll see. Anyway, so we can't get any new units. Basically, the way that the cheat works, it changes the store's units to mermaids. Like, for example, you go and hire a soldier, and they're like, "Oh, would you like to hire this dude?" It's like, "Okay, I'd like to hire this dude." They're like, "No, but it's a mermaid now." And that's basically how the cheat works. But anyway, so simple intro here. I'd say this is probably my favorite way of them doing the intro. OB64 currently takes the second spot on that. Because basically, just the way it works, they're like, okay, you attack somebody from the back, it's a good thing. You avoid getting countered, which is definitely the better way of doing this over the lucky original, I have to say. Gives you a reason to attack from the back aside from just accuracy. So you attack from the back, you avoid counters. The other guy says, oh yeah, you know, make sure to team up your dudes, that's how you get wins. And there you go, that's what you need to know. Some dudes use bows, and some dudes use magic, and some dudes heal and whatever. Like, okay, that's the mechanics. Go nuts. And it works, you know, it definitely works, so. Alrighty, so yeah, basically what I want to do, I've got about 45 minutes, give or take, to get this set up, and what I want to do is get through these intro fights, maybe get the first one or two fights out of the way, and we'll be going from there. Because yeah, I was going to continue on with the Scrooge run, but that unceremoniously ended a few hours ago. The long and short of it, it was one of the hardest fights in the game. However, honestly, I'm still kind of personally on the opinion that the dual boss fight in front of Alamorca on neutral or on Chaos kind of feels like it needs to be nerfed a little bit. But either way, you know, we'll see how that ends up going online. It's this weird type situation where, funnily enough, that in the SNES version it was even more brutal. But you have a very hard-hitting caster. They're a unique class, so you know, of course, they're going to end up hitting pretty decently. And then you've got Zapan, who is far stronger than usual. And okay, you know, fair enough. It's the last hurrah of both of them. It's all well and good. But yeah, if you're running a full just a regular team setup, it's not actually that difficult. A lot of times you can overpower one of them at a time, and you know, get it done. I actually just did so because we were doing the community run. I just picked up the file, you know, put a team together, and just went ahead and won it without any effort. Doing the Scrooge run, it got reasonably far, like got almost to the point of winning, and then it wound up getting slightly derailed at the very last second by one rogue. Like one random rogue is just like, no, I'm gonna block off half of your team over here. So they got stuck on some water tiles, and then they didn't arrive on time. Then the healer ended up getting crit by that same rogue with a knife. So she ended up getting bound, ended up getting crit killed, just basically off of some additional range damage. And I think the caster ended up getting her too? Anyway, is that guy gonna get self-preservation? Ah, Alos didn't get, or not Alos, what's his name? Justin. Got Justin and... God, what's the other one? Because Alos and Floros are always in your team. Like, I do love that your actual starting team is set. So you've got your... Like, Alos and Floros, you always get them. They're your two starter units. And the way that they did this, his two units, Justin, whatever the hell her name is, I want to say something that sounds like a Rose or whatever else. But anyway, so when it comes to them, like, they will be at his side later on if you end up fighting him. If you end up fighting him as a boss fight, he will still have the same units, and they'll have promoted into knights by that point. And I love when they do that. Like, for this one, every time that there's a team, and you later encounter that same team, they will consistently stay, you know, they will have taken an obvious progression route to get there. So it's really nice. Anyway, so the way that I'm going to go ahead and play this, last time, you know, it was essentially just lands being all mind-controlled and everything. It was all mind-controlled by a group of fairies from a church. In this case, it's just essentially going to be lands here and, or rather, Fleshspring and Eleanor, who are just ridiculous fans of mermaids. Like, she was talking about mermaids here, he woke up and was like, dude, I'm totally into mermaids too. And they're like, oh man, we should totally go get some. And then they just, like, decide to take over the entire world because they love, you know, fish and boobies. So, yeah, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. They're just going to be that deranged psycho couple, like kind of like a very seafood-heavy version of Heathers, where they actually succeed. Anyway, go ahead and save it. There we go. We'll have Flesh Spring over there, so we can't really hire anyone yet. We gotta do this next fight first. Sort it out! Yeah, we can't even access the team menu just yet. So we get over here, we do that whole thing. You can't... The funny part is, you probably could change him to a ninja at this point. That's probably why they don't let you access the team menu yet. Oh no, I didn't need to hear about the elements. No, stop button mashing. Whatever, anyway. Because yeah, you can actually get one of the best shields in the game on this very first map. And yeah, I do have the speed running at 1.5 times, by the way, just because this game is a little bit slow otherwise. I mean, obviously it was trying to pull off a lot of technical things while running on a frickin' GPA, so there's that. Like I said, it's not the most technically refined thing in the world, but it does have a lot of elements going on, so they did their best, and I honestly think that it's kind of a friggin' masterpiece, but either way, you know, everyone's got their own preferences. I do always find that it's kind of a comically contentious thing, like where you find, you know, every now and then I'll, you know, go and start ranting and raving, you know, like, oh, this one did this well, this one did this well, and my general mentality when it comes to this stuff is like, look at this cool thing, you know, I'm just talking about a cool thing, like, they did this well, or they did this well. And usually the response is, but I don't know, somebody else did it better. Somebody else did this one other feature better. This one feature over here wasn't done right. Like, dude, just do it's a cool thing, appreciate the cool thing. Anyway, you know, that's gonna come up with every subject, to be fair, but whatever. Comes up all the time. What can he do? Except, I guess, go have a Klondike bar, I don't know. So yeah, Richter and Dude Guy show up. Oh, hello there, Doggage. What are you doing slipping and sliding all over the ground, huh? Are you getting picked on by the cat again? Judging by the fact that you look terrified? So yeah, we have a cat that is a massive dick to this dog. I mean, he's a pretty decent-sized lab. And yeah, this... it's like, at one point, he decided to try to say hi to the cat, whose response was basically, screw this guy. And yeah, proceeded to be a massive dick going forward. So yeah, pretty much exactly that. Every time that I end up leaving to, you know, go handle laundry, or just go handle whatever I need to handle, and then I come back and there's just this, you know, I hear, every now and then I'll just hear a yelp from the other room, and I'll come back and I'll see a terrified dog hiding, while this cat's just being a dick dangling off, you know, a friggin' chair or something. Like, yeah, I didn't do anything. I mean, one time, you know, he has this bed next to a chair, and I look over, and he's just there napping comfortably. Everything seems perfectly well and good. He's just there, you know, completely blissfully unaware. The cat is hanging over him, with the claws outstretched and everything, just like, just about to pop him, but I want to savor the moment, you know, like, wow. Wow, why are you doing that? So there's that. Anyway, so, we don't need any of their items, so I'm going to go ahead and just, attack this chick, and we'll be done here. There we go, level up, etc. A pretty reasonable chance she's just gonna run. I would hope Orson will be able to finish her off. There we go, that chick just unlocked archers. Good for her. Or rather, unlocked one archer. Honestly, this still remains my favorite class system of the series. Like, again, it kind of gets under my skin a little bit when, whenever I hear they're like, oh, you know, it could have been handled better or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you know, it could have been. But tell me it isn't cool that each individual unit has to go and earn their class, you know? Like, a lot of the other systems were okay. Like, a OB64's thing of, like, you have to go get their respective stats and gear, and then it's kind of like this background mentality of, like, oh, look, they discovered the class. That's why you can only have one Dragoon. They're like, oh, so we take this sword and all this armor, we get a set effect from it, we can make a class around this. It's like, if you take the, what's his face? The guy who did the entire history of the world, I guess? Or something like that? If you add that whole thing, like, oh yeah, we can make a blank out of this, except it's just like, we can make a class out of this, that is their entire class system. Like, we have this pile of stuff, wait a minute, we can make an archer out of this! Like, it's just like some leather, a bow, and whatever else. Like, oh man, and we have this headband, we have this holy bow, and we have this other stuff. We can make a better archer out of this, and you know, that kind of stuff. So that's all well and good. Man, that is screechy sounding. Alright. There we go. Go ahead and finish all that off. Now, I can go ahead and save it real quick just in case the cheat didn't take. But, let's go to the shop. And we want to hire some dudes, so let's probably hire a chick here just for the sake of who knows why. Anyway, let's hire them. They are water type now. I've received a few requests here. It's, where are they? Where are my notes? Hello, notes. The very first one that I received was Lord Edmund. So let's see if that'll fit. Probably just LD Edmund might fit. Go LD Edmund. Lord Ed. Should probably just put Lord Ed, but whatever. Lord Edmund. Yeah, there is a kind of limited text window for this. Ed Wound? Yeah, maybe not. Edmund. I somehow put the thing upside down. Probably part of that whole not even bothering to sleep situation. Yeah, there we go. They're popping in as a mermaid. Yes, hire them. Think you made a good choice. Well, nifty. Alright, next we need Baldric. I believe he was this, so there we go, Baldric. Or maybe he was Earth, I don't know. We'll have Baldric the Mermaid. Or, oops, accidentally put Badric. That's apparently a spoiler. Baldric. All I know is that he's apparently a bad guy. I have no idea what he actually does, because I haven't gotten to that point in the game, and I don't know if my run is going to be allowed to continue due to shenaniganry. Now, next up is Sushi. Get Sushi in there. Yeah, let's see, how are we doing for time? We got a good bit of time, actually. We might be able to get a couple fights in. Depends on how well this goes. Sushi okay? Hell yeah, it is. I'm gonna actually have them run one quick training fight as well. So I can't, I should probably clarify, as far as the rules are concerned, I cannot revive, so there's no resurrections. Basically it's Iron Man, so if at any point Lance dies, that's just the end of the run. And, yeah, that's kind of about it, really. A fish stick. I'd like to assume they were made in an air fryer, so, they're gonna go ahead and be an air type. So there we are, fish stick. By the way, feel free to throw out names at any point for the few people that are here. No? We'll see how that goes. Now, what else do we want? Feels like we should have one more in here. Am I gonna remember the name wrong? We're gonna assume this is a misspelling if I get the name wrong. Because, again, I've slept about 2 hours, so hopefully that's right. I'm gonna feel like an a-hole if this isn't, but okay. Anyway, so that's what we have money for now. Actually, let's get one more. Because we need one more. And what is auto-generate? Reeves? That sounds cool. Okay. Just get one auto-generated one, why not? Ados and Floros. Thank you for coming along. You are fired. Like, but why? But yeah, another thing I want to point out about this game, just like, dude, look at these portraits. How good are these portraits? Like, everything about this just conveys the tone of the game. Like, okay, in Lux and all that, they always look like, oh, you know, we're being all heroic and everything. In this one, they look properly, like, disheveled. Like, they don't want to be here. And then the more promoted they get, the more confident they look. I love it. I absolutely love it. Like ninjas, they look all scared and everything. All the clerics look like, oh crap, what are we gonna do here? What was so bad about you? You were not a fish. That's kind of the main thing here. Now, as before, I'm gonna try to match the best thing that they can be, which, honestly, I feel like probably just the basic soldier matches them best. So I'm just gonna leave them as that. As far as equipment goes, I'm going to leave them all unequipped. Okay, I need that gone, and then he's just going in with a shield. For... You know what? For the moment, I'm actually just going to give him one class change real quick. Can I? No. Okay, we're going to have to come back later then. We're going to go to training. So interestingly, I can't actually pick up the Dragon Shield this time. So you get 2. The other team gets 4. So if you didn't know, this is probably the fastest way to get some early XP. You just basically unequip everybody and have them run up a fist fight, and this actually works in the SNES version too. Generally speaking, it's funny because they added both a feature and a counter to this. I'll explain that in just a sec here. So, there we go, they're both AI controlled. Go do your thing. So, interestingly enough, yeah, they added a thing that is both a feature for the actual game and a counter to this particular method. Because you eventually have to start using shields for the purpose of very low damage training. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and set this to a faster speed real quick. Emulation options... Oh, it's already running 2 times auto. Okay, I meant to have it at 1.5. Screw it. So, anyway. So yeah, if you end up getting a kill while unarmed, you end up getting the fist fight emblem, which basically gives you more or less like Claymore levels of damage on your fist. So what I'm trying to do here is actually, for the sake of making them able to move a little bit farther, I'm actually going to use Fist Fight and Unarmed for the first little part of it, so they're going to be running... See, like that, like, holy crap. I mean, he got Berserk from the very first fight, at like level 2. That's how strong Fist Fight is. Like, he can one-shot the entire team. So there you go, if you want to speedrun getting Berserk early on. Jesus Christ, man. Oh man, Flesh Spring is a beast. Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and put away those shields. Yeah, short swords. I should probably say short swords and skiplay staffs. Dead. Oh my god. That's beautiful. So, if you want to see how severe that land penalty is, there you go. They end up taking 50% more damage at all times. So he doesn't need anything else. He's all good to go. So let's get in here, fish sticks. Yep, there's one team. Create B team. Yeah, we might only have time for one if that's the case. I expected to have imbalanced teams, but whatever. So yeah, like I said, fist fight pretty friggin' OP in the early game, and see, this is the kind of stuff that I really love. Because the way that they balanced it, Fist Fight is clearly, like, you can see, it's stupidly powerful early on. Later on, though, it's completely worthless, so you can't rely on it. But it will be able to kind of just serve as a little bit of a hidden trick early on. I mean, obviously, later on you have stuff like the Snapdragon, but you do actually have to sacrifice a good unit for it to work, and you can only get, like, I think maybe 4 of them? Which, granted, is way more than enough. One of them is enough to carry a fight by itself. But, you know, you do have to sacrifice a unit to do it, you'd have to actually go through some stuff to make it happen. Not to mention you have to know that they're there in the first place. There's only one that's available on the story route that isn't hidden off in some way, and odds are you probably won't end up wanting to get it, because the only one that's available is off of a giant when you're going and fighting the twins, which I'm pretty sure, based off talking with other people and everything else, most people's first time through that fight just resulted in them like, okay, crap, it's time to just panic kill the twins because they are completely ruining everybody. So, yeah. Now, unfortunately, because of the kind of genre that this is, you will usually see situation, like, every single time there's a response of like, oh, I went back and I made sure that everybody made it and everything else. And yeah, I mean, everybody does that run at some point. But it always kind of made me wonder why they never introduced an Iron Man mode or something like that to these games. As a kid, this was my XCOM. Like, until I found out that XCOM existed, like, I just kept playing this over and over and over with different challenges and no revives and everything else, just because it was like, man, there's so much tragedy potential here. This has the potential to be amazing. Alright, so the way that we're going to do this, by the way, whichever ones end up getting their fistfight emblems, they're going to be kicked out of the next fight. We're going to run one second fight with the reduced numbers, and then after that, we're just going to go run the hill archer fight. It's just basically an archer on a hill, that's why I called it that. Now you may be thinking, why go through this? Clearly your characters are crazy strong and whatever else. Kind of, but here's the thing. When he did that punch, that was with a massive terrain bonus, because technically speaking, I cannot change him. One caveat to these older ogre games and things like that, you cannot change your leader in any way other than their stats, because the game will just simply crash. So as far as I could tell, there were no codes available to make that happen. So either way, that'll be, if I could, I would make him an aquatic type, but there's no code for that available. If anybody knows of some, ridiculously obscure place to find a code for it, please do let me know, and I will gladly do so. But anyway, just saying, just so you know. Alright, who is emailing me here? Somebody asking about some stuff. Hopefully, somebody will actually, go and buy things at some point. It's kind of amazing. Most of my free time is dedicated to trying and getting stuff sold and everything else, and my luck in that regard has been astoundingly bad over the course of the last few months. Sales will always rely on some degree of luck because there's so many aspects that you can't actually control, but god dang. When you get a troll that, goes on a dedicated murder spree of your business, oof. Holy crap, that's annoying. I'm sure whoever it is thinks it's hilarious, but oh man. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully any folks that are here are having a fantastic morning. Yeah, personally I have not slept, so running on caffeine. And then it's gonna be a busy day from there, so fantastic. Oh, and the kids are sick, and I think I'm getting sick. Everyone's getting sick. It's a good time. It's a good time. Fun times are had by all. But yeah, actually, I think I might just go run the fight after this. The only thing is, early on, it's very difficult to get more money. In terms of getting more fishy hires and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of the problem we'll run into. Plus, I don't want these sessions to run too long, just because there's a bit of a bug that comes with this emulator. Now here's the thing. There's a lot of emulators for the GBA, and most of them completely refuse to cooperate with OBS. It's a weirdly specific thing. Apparently it's somehow software related, that they've got some similar crap going on or some such. But yeah, I use one that's called No Cache. It's generally viewed as the hottest of garbage. It's just a complete dumpster fire of an emulator, to the point where when you save, it doesn't even save. It basically exits using an exit save state that basically save states the ROM as you leave, so it doesn't save to the ROM itself. Let's see, write snapshot. Does it explode now? I don't know. Just for the sake of safety, because I don't feel like redoing everything. There we go. And what did that do? I don't know. Actually, I do know. It just makes like a little save state file type of thing. And then, sometimes it crashes. Also good. Yep, there we go. It exploded. So I'm really glad I did that. That's pretty convenient timing right there. Anyway, let's go ahead and load that sucker back up. Like I said, no cache, garbage. You try to save on the thing, and bad things happen. Oh man, now watch as it loaded that, as it ended up. Oh yeah, I think it might have actually. Let's see, right snapshot. Where does that go? That goes over here. Right, so it crashed. Why is it doing that exactly? Alright, so go to the thing, go to load a thing, then I go like a billion menus up because it can't save in somewhere reasonable. Go down here, and oh crap, it exists! There we go. Now, as long as it doesn't crash, we're good to go. It is quite the sucky emulator. but, you know, such life. Generally speaking, if you just do hard saves and then exit out of it, it will save properly, and it's all well and good, but yeah, it's, once you find out about that, it's kind of annoying. So yeah, more than likely what I'm going to do is between sessions, I'm just going to go run one of these fights to get them, you know, a little bit trained up and all that. And usually when you do these kinds of modes, you know, you just leave them training and just leave them sitting around for a minute. Let them get all their punches on and everything. And, you know, generally pretty quick stuff. How are we looking on time for these guys anyway? How do I pause this again? And hit all the buttons, hit all the buttons. Mashing all the buttons. Why are my buttons not doing stuff? Why do I have a feeling the controls are not set up properly again? Button A is that one. Okay. Yep. That's not working right. There we go. Now we're working. View list. Or not. Okay, whatever. So it uses this weird control scheme that it keeps defaulting to. Ooh, this is going to take a minute, but yeah, it looks like blue team is going to be winning here, so these guys are going to end up eating it. Anyway. So on we go! Yeah, what a fishy experience. Alright, they're going for back punches all of a sudden. Not really sure what changed. But yeah, I mean, technically speaking, when I was doing the ferry run and all that kind of thing, it actually only crashed once, which is kind of a funny part. I think it's actually the save, or rather, saving the snapshots themselves that caused it to crash. It's just the only time that it actually crashed was after I had left it running for like 8 hours or something. So it's not like it crashes all the time, but it's still the fact that if it does crash, even your hard saves don't matter. So what I kept doing is I was going and I was doing a grind fight, and then I would go and you know, shove them into a hard save and figure it was fine. And then suddenly I realized, like, wait a minute, this save was from yesterday. What the hell happened? And so yeah, anyway, I end up going and looking through their forums, and it's like, yeah, no, it's a well-known feature. It sucks. It's bad. Use something else. Well, that would have been good to know. But it doesn't matter. You know, it happens. It happens. Right, I think Red Team might actually pull it along here. See if they can pull the upset. See if they can slither in for a win here. Okay, there's literally no reason for you to attack from the front there, but whatever. Now, as you may have potentially already noticed, they gain a lot of penalties. Now, thankfully, accuracy does not seem to be one of them. You know, early game evasion is kind of nuts because everyone's agility is pretty low. So anyway, yeah, they end up getting a 50% damage output and taken penalty in both instances. So they take 50% more, they deal 50% less. The only thing that they specialize in is spears, which is why I personally like them as a class, because there's very few units that actually specialize in spears, and in Knight of Lodis they're actually good. Granted, the units themselves suck, so there may be a lot of casualties just on the fact that they're awful. Oh wait. Alright, finally getting those level ups. And that probably will be the deciding factor right there. Because they got their level ups first, they've already got an HP advantage, so I'm pretty sure they've got this. But anyway. So yeah, normally this will not be part of the episodes going forward, just so you're aware. But as far as my general plan for this goes, 6 of them will be alright for now. I mean, that's almost a full team. You can deploy up to 8 per fight. And yeah, so that'll be fine for now. The ones with Fist Fight should be able to completely stomp things like no tomorrow, at least up until Formido, so we're just basically setting up for the first few fights. Since you actually only have like 3 training fights before your first like hard boss type situation. So, alright. Anyway, so fist fight will carry early on. Once we get to Rana, so that's the fish boss, it actually should be pretty easy with these guys because the main challenge of that fight is you're fighting a bunch of mermaids and octopi and everything else on the water. So there's very few land tiles. So overall, it's gonna be, it should be a pretty easy thing to win. Going forward there though, once we get into the second half of the game, they are gonna have no terrain bonuses at all. Water tiles, with exception, I want to say there's only a few maps. Like there's a few small rivers that still remain, and there's some moats in some of the castle maps and stuff. Other than that, there's basically no water tiles. There's ice tiles because it all froze over, but it's just kind of funny how they make them such a big threat early on, and they even give you 2 unique characters. Or actually, they give you 1 unique character. The other one doesn't necessarily do anything for you. But anyway. So yeah, they give you Ariel and everything, like, oh, check it out, she's all cool and everything. And then immediately afterwards, she's utterly disqualified from being useful ever again. I think she's died off in almost every run. Just because usually I never really made it a big deal to actually save her. Everyone's getting Book of Initiation. So good, they could be sword masters, except they can't because they're fishy. They're fish people! Whatever, Knight certificate for everyone. And that's the thing. I saw somebody mentioning, like, oh, it was too difficult to get a Knight certificate at one point. Like, I couldn't unlock Knights because they couldn't get a Knight certificate. Like, how? How did that give you an issue? You just leave them in training for 5 minutes and they'll go and get a Knight certificate. They just automatically do it. All you gotta do is attack from the front so many times, and you get it. I think it's like 5 times, and that's it. It's not like it's super difficult or anything. I mean, archers you get from hitting 3 targets with a bow. For Book of Initiation, I think it's like you dodge 5 attacks or something. Like 5 attacks in a single fight. All these are super easy. I mean, Berserk, like you saw there. Hire a mermaid, have him use fist fight. Instant Berserk. So at least we have Berserk. There's that. So he's Flesh Spring, the Berserk lunatic for mermaids. Though I don't think anyone wants to look at his search history. Oh man, probably would end up looking like the random section in the XCOM forums, or not the forums, but the Discord. There were several times when it literally just turned into the fist fight. There we go. Just turned into the snake titties, and that's it. I will actually probably end up holy crap, 80. I'll probably end up using one of those pictures, like one of the joke pictures of the snake ladies from XCOM 2, whenever it actually comes to like Lucht or something like that, just because that mess is hilarious. It's actually funny how many people got way too obsessed with that. There we go, we got 2 with fist fight, and who are they? I mean, blue team trounced that like nobody's business. Although really all they needed was that 1 win, so... Sorry, messing up my controls because of backwards, because of reasons. Okay, so obviously Flesh Spring has it, Edmund has it, Baldric does not, Sushi. So Edmund and Sushi are the ones that have fist fight at this point. Alright, so let's equip some armor on you. Let's get a little bit of defense going. Let's not even pretend it's really anything serious, armor-wise, but whatever. He's gonna be backwards because he's special like that. Hat, and a hard leather. We are gonna need, let's see. Need 4 hats, 3 leathers. What can I sell for that? So... sell that. Leaves us with, yeah, 5 that are gonna need weapons. So get rid of... actually, probably one of these. Get rid of that, we don't need robes. Screw all that noise. Alright, what can we afford? Only robes. We can't even afford a single armor. Well, boo. Well, in that case, you're just getting headbands. Headbands for everybody. Where that broke. What do we get for armor? You know, given that we have our massive terrain penalties. Oh, here, just wear this strip of cloth on your head. It'll help. Boost your intelligence a little bit. But how does that work? Just go with it. Just go with it. Don't ask these questions. Alright. Weapon-wise, yeah, let's give you an axe. I think, actually no, you're gonna get a sword. It's slightly lighter. Keeps our movement up. Right, you're already going down for movement, so we'll do this. There we go. So, I'm actually out of time, but yeah. That'll be all the setup for now. So, I'll see you next time. Take care.